Hello, everyone, and welcome to Enebi Speaks. My name is Ibinabo Enebi. My special guest today is a star. She is one who shines with brightness. And what I can say about her is that she's excellence at its finest. Her name is Clara Rufai. Clara, welcome to Enebi Speaks.
Thank you for having me. And thank you for the amazing work that you've been doing. I've listened to past episodes and you are amazing.
Thank you very much. So, I had a conversation with you a while ago, and I said to you that the month of September is a month where I'm having what I call the Lemonade series.
Mm-hmm.
And so the first guest was Iso Bassi, and he spoke about drawing strength in times of crisis. And I had another guest speak on having twins after 20 years of waiting. So last week, I had beautiful Vivian Phillip. She got widowed at 30. And we had an episode called Widowed But Not Forsaken and Abandoned. So today we're going to talk about You've Got to Shine, Find It. Yeah? And the idea behind the Lemonade stories is that I thought to bring in guests who have had or who've been through extraordinary situations and had God come through. And why did I want you, Clara, to come in? I wanted you to come in because I think there's something about you that can cause a ripple effect in the life of others. And I think that after they hear your story, that there's something in them that would click, because I know that they wouldn't leave this program the same. So welcome to Enebi Speaks again.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So now, but before I go into the program proper, I can't help but blow your trumpet. And let me blow your trumpet, because you deserve it to be blown. So you are the Shine Strategist. You are a corporate lawyer with an MBA, a compliance professional, an entrepreneur, you're a mentor, you are an author, you're a podcaster, you are a coach, a speaker, and your work has been recognized, which makes you a multiple award-winning person. So, for example, you won the Iconic Women Award, Greatness Award, Powerhouse Global Award, and Humanity Award. And you also got the recognition, the Republic of Women recognition as one of the 100 women for social work and women empowerment. It's a mouthful. You are officially amazing. Recognition given to you by the Republic of Women. You're the UK Country Director, International Youth Society. But then there was some time in your life where you were dying to leave your footprints in the sands of time. Tell me about it.
Okay, thank you very, very much for having me. Like I said, you're doing an amazing job, and it is my pleasure to be here today.
Thank you.
So, the thing is, when people arrive at a place where, for want of a better word, they've achieved something, it can seem to other people, onlookers, as if to say that, I don't know, I woke up this way, I was born this way. The truth of the matter, though, is that our lived experiences and our challenges, our fears, our, even our failures, everything comes together to make the rich tapestry of who we are. as individuals.
Yeah.
My belief is that nothing that happens to us in the world or in life is ever in vain. We don't choose, and I know you'll get to that soon enough. We don't choose when life throws lemons at us. The only thing we're in control of is what we do with those lemons. So there was a time in my life where I went through, if you like, and I've had my share of pain and sorrow, tears, grief, and all of that. Really, really intense, if I may say that. There was a time in my life when I felt like it wasn't worth going on. It wasn't worth, why am I even here? Why am I alive? I couldn't understand, the path that God was taking me through at the time.
Yeah.
Right. And I felt, perhaps in my mind, quite rightly at the time, I felt like God had let me down. This is because at the time that my tragedy happened, and I can just, put it out there, the tragedy that happened to me was losing two younger sisters on the same day, not one, but two. Now, that is something that will crush anybody. And it did crush me. It sent me on, if you like, on a spiraling wave of depression that I didn't want to come out of. I felt like I was being sucked in by this dark black hole. And I wanted to just keep going. I didn't want anybody to try and bring me out. I didn't want to be helped. I certainly didn't feel like at that time that I had the power to help myself. I just felt like life had dealt me the greatest blow. And I went through a season, being a believer, mind you, I went through a season when I felt like God had let me down. And I was, if you like, keeping malice with God. I was angry at God and I was asking him all kinds of questions, like, on your watch. And you say you love me. You say that you've got my back. You say that everything that happens to me is for a reason and for a purpose. Well, I cannot see the purpose in two young, beautiful, amazing girls losing their lives in this way. And it wasn't because it was an accident, right? There were other, how do I put it? There were other things to consider in the sense of, the memories were graphic. It was a boating accident, and I don't want to, because this is not what, I don't want to go into the depth of it, but it was a boating accident. And let's just say that when people drown, you don't always find the body, or the body doesn't get washed ashore the same day.
Yeah.
And if the body doesn't get washed ashore the same day, then you can imagine what happens.
Yeah.
Because that's, the river, the sea, if you like, belongs to
the fishes.
So the fish obviously will have a go. And then when you see your loved one washed back up, and you see, just as an example, no eyes, no this, no that, it pretty much eclipses whatever beautiful memories you had of them. If you saw them before as happy-go-lucky, smiling and all of that, that last memory almost wants to, is constantly doing battle with the beautiful memories that you have in your head about those people. So that was my case. Like I said, I was aggrieved, I was offended, I was angry at the world, I was angry at God, and I didn't see much point in going on. And at that point in time, I remember I said to God that, you know what, there is no point me having this relationship with you if you're going to let this happen to me. Now, mind you, that wasn't my first introduction to grief or to pain. Yeah. Many years before that, when I was only 13, my father, my hero, had died. And trust me, to a 13-year-old teenager, I was just coming into my teens, it seemed to me like my father was invincible, like he could not die, because he was this force of nature. He was doing good in the community. He was, he was a philanthropist. A lot of people depended on him. I liked to think at that time, I saw my father as somebody who answered lots of little prayers. So that God didn't have to bother with them, because everybody around him that he could help, he was helping. And that was a culture, and it was a tradition, and was part of my upbringing. So I would like to say that, we lost our breadwinner, we lost our hero. We came out from that, and I carried on, so to speak. And then to lose two sisters on the same day in this horrific way, where I didn't, like I said, I wouldn't go into too many details, but I didn't have the opportunity, if you like, to lay a wreath or put some flowers down or anything. Yeah. There were no graves.
No,
That
there's no graves in
there
the,
were
yeah,
no graves. The
yeah.
graves were a
The
watery grave.
water,
Let's just leave it that way. So it was very painful. I felt like it was something I would never really recover from. But I would like to say one thing, that period, and if you talk to some of the most creative people, they'll tell you that the place of pain and
pain,
loss
yeah,
is
yeah,
that place where they also birth
yeah,
something unique, something valuable, their greatest works sometimes. And so
yeah,
whilst I was in that place, as I began to gradually come out of that place of depression, I felt like, God was calling me to do something with my life, to make my life matter. Because already I had this feeling that, my sisters' lives had been cut short. And so if they could no longer live out their lives and live out their own purpose, I felt like it fell on me to make my life count. And since then, I'm not saying that I went straight from being in depression, being angry with God, straight away into making my life matter or my life count, or into being an influencer or the thought leader that I am today. There lay a long, lonely, dreary road. But I began to see where the stones were placed. I began to see that the same God was the person that I had to turn to. I didn't have any other one to turn to. I felt like he was the same person that I needed to turn to in order for him to lead me out of the abyss. And he did lead me out of the abyss, and he gave me, thoughts and dreams and aspirations and an ambition so huge that I'm just hoping that I will be able to, live out what it is, the thoughts and the dreams and the purposes that God has put inside of me before I leave this earth. I want to die empty. So yes, it has been rosy, but God has led me through. I've got life lessons, and I try every opportunity that I get to share those life lessons, because you never know. It might just be the encouragement that somebody else needs. And that's how we should live our lives, that everything we go through should help us to add value in some way to the world or to somebody else's life. I'm not sure if I answered your question, Ibi.
Oh, you did fantastically well. So, Clara, what you said is so profound. And I'll tell you why. I have a video out, and she's a widow, beautiful girl. And what she said ties in with what you've just said about mourning and grieving. And she said that there is always a message in those times. And what she said was that after she had grieved and cried and forgave God, right? She forgave God. And then she was like, now she would have the ability to share her story and to encourage people. And so that ties in with the fact that there's power to our pain and that we shouldn't waste our pain, isn't it?
Yes. And absolutely, I totally agree. Oftentimes, nobody welcomes pain, nobody wishes for it. But oftentimes I know, I've actually lived through this. I know that it is so possible for you to find your purpose through your pain.
Pain, yeah.
It is so possible for you to actually, our, if you like, our desire should be that when life deals us those lemons, which we cannot help, we take them and we make something beautiful out of it. So that just talks about finding the lessons that you've learned along the way where you were in your pit, if you like. But as you emerge and you start walking towards your palace, you want to come with positivity. And I'm somebody I'm so big on positivity. When it comes to, I totally believe in what I call perspective posturing, right? Because it's always about the perspective. One person can look at something and say, this is a messy splash of colors. Another person will look at it and say, oh my God, it's a beautiful abstract piece of work, piece of art. And so here's what I always say. When I look at the glass of life, I always see it as half full. Always. Because whether we like it or not, yes, we cannot be like the ostrich and deny what's in front of us. We cannot deny that there are dark clouds on the horizon sometimes, happens to the best of us. Those are the lemons of life. But also, if you look beyond the dark clouds, you certainly will find a rainbow lurking somewhere.
Fantastic.
But you have to have the eyes that will let you see that rainbow. Because the moment you believe the opposite, it always comes back to you as a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you're believing that everything that happens to you in life is to crush you, is to finish you, and you're singing this song of woe is me, why me, you're going to take that much longer to come out of your pain. You're going to take that much, and you might come out damaged. You might come out not useful to yourself, not useful to anyone else. But remember that, I like to say this all the time, God is not emotional. I'm sorry, but he's just not emotional. And he's not a Democrat either. He doesn't take a poll or take a vote and say, okay, anyone in support of this happening to Ibi or Clara or whatever, and then go by the votes. No. But yet we know that his thoughts towards us are thoughts of good and not of evil, to bring us to an expected end. So that whatever it is that life deals us, whatever path we have to take, our goal should be to come out of that journey, come out of that process with lessons.
Fantastic. Now I'm going to ask you something else. So after you went through the grieving period for your sister, you also had a life-threatening experience where they had to call in the ambulance for you. What happened?
Oh, okay. So it's the demands, isn't it? The many demands of life. Sometimes when you are, you get torn in very many different places. More than anyone else, I'm always juggling several balls at any point in time. And I suppose that's because I'm a creative. I'm a multi-passionate person. I'm always wanting to birth something, to do something. I always have something on the back burner. It's the reason, I feel like that's the reason I'm on this planet, to create things, to birth something that gives value to people. So there was a time in my life, though, where I had so much on my plate. But beyond having so much on my plate, the main thing that was my preoccupation, and is still, if you like, my preoccupation even now, is that the fact that I had a very, very demanding 9-to-5 job. I'm a corporate lawyer. I work in the city. I work in an investment management space. And on a good day, that's a job that will require it will take everything from you in terms of your brain matter, in terms of, the hours that are demanded of you and all of that. So I had that going on. But then again, I always say to people that I was, just before 2016, I was a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde character. I felt like I was, I had a split personality. So one side was my rational personality that would say to me, you're a lawyer, you studied to be a lawyer, you have a great job in the city, just focus on what you need to do. Don't jeopardize, your career for anything, for any flighty dream. And then I had what I'd like to call my dreamy side, my visceral persona, who was quieter in her approach, but no less convincing. So she would say to me and urge me and encourage me, you've got to live your life. You've got to live fully. You've got to live, die empty. And there's so much that is in you. And I knew that and I believed that. So here I was, as a mother, as a wife, as a corporate lawyer, as a daughter, a sister. I was so many things to so many people. And I had no time to answer the gentle nudging or urging in my spirit that I felt to do more. I was literally, by virtue of my job, limited to my geographical space, because I would go into my 9-to-5 job and sit within that space, within the cubicle, and do the job. And by the time, and I had a very heavy commute, 2 hours, going to work and 2 hours back. And by the time I got back, I was wasted. I was really no good to my family because I was brain tired. And yet I had young children who still rightly felt, entitled to my time. So then this whole murder guilt will start. As a mom, you're not doing enough. As a wife, you're ignoring, you're shortchanging your family and all of that. But there was this side of me that wanted to do yet more. I wanted to go in I wanted to start a PhD. I wanted to write a book. I wanted to start coaching. I wanted to start mentoring. How was I going to fit that? Sleep deprived as I already was. How was I going to fit that into my 24 hours, which already didn't seem enough? So that was the struggle I was in. But I had no way, as with most of us, it always comes as a shocker. I had no way of knowing that I had gone too far, pushed myself too hard. until one day I woke up early in the morning and I thought I'd make my way downstairs to the kitchen, have a drink of water. And as I was making my way down the stairs, I hadn't quite gotten to the bottom of the stairs. And the next thing that I remember is I passed out. I collapsed basically. And I woke up and I was somewhere at the foot of the stairs with, my phone obviously had fallen. I think my phone alarm had gone. And so I had my phone in my hand when I was going down to get the water. And my phone had, sort of like scattered into several pieces or come apart.
Yeah. And the must have been very hard.
And my face was swollen and it hurt. And while all this was happening, nobody upstairs, people were still sleeping upstairs and they weren't aware. And, that basically brought me to a place where I realized, guess what? I still went into work that day. And of course, my boss took one look at my face and said, you need to be in A&E. You need to go to the hospital. So I left from work. I went to the hospital and I got, basically admitted immediately. They were checking me for, low blood pressure. They, hooked me up to all kinds of machines. And basically, I ended up spending the entire day in hospital. But here's what I want to bring out, that oftentimes we dream. When we dream and we aspire, we forget that this body that God has given us is the container. We may want to shine and shine brighter than a million star bulb, watt bulb and all of that. But unless you're looking after this case, this container, you're not going to be able to shine. So the life choices that we make have to take into cognizance mental health, physical health, and all of those things. Those were some of the lessons that I came away with. And I discovered that, do you know what? Even though people were saying to me, don't take on more, you cannot take on more, you have too much on your plate, I felt like I was silently dying, because I think, for me, at least, my definition of death is not the one that we know. I think the greatest or the most tragic death is when we are alive, but we are dead. Because we're not giving value into the world. We're not living our best lives. We're not living out our purpose. Therefore, somebody somewhere is being shortchanged. Because I do believe that we are called to be coach, mentor, teacher, inspirer, encourager to somebody somewhere. Every coach has a coach, every mentor has a mentor. So that if you're sitting there, you know, and if you don't know it, I'm putting it to you now, that you have the answer to somebody's question. And when you see yourself as that person, you may just be the accountability partner to somebody. You may just be the truth teller that somebody would listen to. They may not listen to me, but they may listen because it's coming from you. So this is why I say that the most tragic thing we can do is to stay silent. You must use your voice, in whatever way you must speak up, you must use your voice, and you must try to make your life count. And that's really is what the Shine philosophy is about.
Fantastic.
How people can be led into the path that they should be, that path of productivity, the path of creativity, the path of purpose that aligns with who they are.
Fantastic. We're going to get there, right? Now, from our conversation, this is what I find. There are two things that I find. That the first was that out of pain came something.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's where Shine came from. So we're going to talk about Shine. And the second thing that I hear you say to me is that you were lost in the translations of the roles that you had to play. That's my favorite word. And the duties you had to perform. You were torn into different directions. And it happens to us all the time. But the thing that struck a chord for me was this. Looking at you from the outside, you were successful. Come on, man, you had an MBA, you have an MBA, you're a corporate lawyer. So you had the ambience of success, and yet
you were dying inside.
You were dying inside because you hadn't fulfilled your purpose. So before I ask you the question, I want to read out some comments that people are saying. Okay, so someone says here, we shouldn't waste our pain. That particularly speaks to me, considering where I am now.
Wow.
My take out from this is that for every pain, there is an inherent gain, if only we look closely to see the lessons and begin to imbibe them as we go on in life's journey. And another one says, yes, I agree with Clara. If you don't take care of the container, you can't shine. And someone says, I agree with using your voice and not going back empty. The talents and know-how God has instilled in us is definitely for someone out there. Love the passion.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
I'm going to say this. And guys, before I say the next one, I want to say, help this video, leave a comment, like it, and share it if you're watching via Facebook. And if you're on Ebi Speaks Today, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe. Yeah.
Please subscribe.
Now, please subscribe. Clara, you know, I was going through your website because I love your creativity. And something about your website touched me, and you also spoke about it today. We talked about sharing our stories. And when I started my blog, One Womanity, and now Ebi Speaks, the reason why I started it was that I believed that our stories are content enough to share with people. Our lives' experiences are content enough to share, and that they would be survival kits for those who are about to embark on theirs. And that our experiences, be it professional and personal and all of that, would be the street lights that would help illuminate the path of those who are coming behind us. And so your story of pain is helping to illuminate the path of one of our listeners. And she said, I took away something. As a matter of fact, it's helping to illuminate the path of everyone that's watching today. So now I want us to go to Shine, because you're the Shine Strategist. I mean, it is amazing that from the pain and the pit would come the glorious story of greatness. So tell me, what's Shine all about? What's the ideology of Shine?
Shine, you have
Shine.
Shine is my buzzword. Okay, the shine is I like, you see, you could call it a belief system, you could call it a way of life.
Yeah.
Or even a transformational ideology.
I have to write it down.
It's
Shine.
A transformational ideology, because it's not, oh God. My desire is that the Shine philosophy should not just be, words. Do you see what I mean? Not just be something that gives you, if you like, I don't know, a temporary goosebumps, and then, your life doesn't change in any way. My desire, God help me, is that everybody that encounters the Shine philosophy comes out better, is able to sort of change their life, to transform their lives, which is why I call it a transformational ideology. And basically, I already said, it came out of my Shine journey, and part of my Shine journey was my pain. But the Shine philosophy as a concept, I spent many years cooking in the oven, because it was born out of my life-changing experience of how I overcame, severe depression and all of those things. And then when I came out of that, I decided that I would do something to honor my sister's memory. I decided I was going to make my life count. And that's how this came about. The only way I knew how to do that was to connect with my life's purpose, to embrace my shine, and to just run with it. So that's what I like to call my Shine journey. And I encourage everyone to begin their Shine journey. That's usually where my conversation starts with, people coaching and mentoring, because some people don't realize, and I tell people this all the time, that there is a call upon our lives. There is a mandate, and we need to answer that mandate. We need to rise up to that mandate, and it's a mandate for us to shine, simply because there's greatness hidden inside of every single one of us. So the Shine philosophy is basically, to shine means to soar higher into new expressions. That's what the shine stands for. It means to soar higher into new expressions. So basically what that means is that no matter who you are, no matter what you've been through, there's yet another level. There is always the next level. There's no such thing as a destination. There is always a daily transformation, a daily process of doing something better, of just being better than who you were yesterday. Let's simplify it that way. So that it's not about your whoever else that may be walking on, going on that journey, because your journey is personal to you. It really is about you trying to be a better version of yourself, better person you were yesterday, in your craft, in your skills, in your talents, in your belief system, in how you're looking after your mind and how you're looking after, and using the talents that God has given you. For me, every single time something has happened to me in life, whether good or bad, it's actually promoted me to new levels of wisdom, if you like, new levels of courage, confidence, dignity. Because what did David say? David knew he could take on Goliath simply because of his antecedents, simply because he knew that he had killed a lion and a bear, and he was like, "Hey, I can take on." So when we know our antecedents, when we know even the times when we have failed, hopefully we failed and we failed forward. What do I mean by that? We've taken.
Oh, yeah, I love that. Failing forward.
We've taken lessons, because everything, as your guest last week said, everything in life, even the most gruesome pain that we can go through, there is a lesson to be learned from there. So if you take those lessons and you get better by them, you gain wisdom and dignity and courage by them in order to continue your journey forward, then that's a good place. So the shine, if you ask me to break it down, is a 5-step
Exactly. That's what I wanted to know.
The shine, the S stands for shine. To start. Quite often, what I find is a lot of us have, the good book says, write a vision, make it plain, and they that see it will run with it, and all of that. A lot of us just know that we want something, we desire something, we want our lives to be different to what it is today, but we're not really taking any action, we're not really taking any steps towards that. And so that dream or that vision just remains just that. It's not anything that the universe is going to take serious. God cannot move a parked car, as one of my friends likes.
Oh my gosh.
It is not something that God can work with. Think about the people with the talents. The one that buried his talent, he didn't get praise for it. He didn't get praise for it. You're meant to connect with it. You're meant to touch lives with it. So starting is the first step to shining.
Okay.
What it is that you want to do, you've got to start. And that starting may just be as simple as, you asking the right questions to the right people, because maybe you're stuck. Maybe you're clueless. You haven't the foggiest idea how to start on your journey. That's okay. That is why I talk about human harnesses. Human harness is basically, if you think about a harness, what it does for the horse, it guides the horse and all of those things. And we as human beings, we need that as well. We need people who will be our truth tellers. We need cheerleaders. We need people who will help us see what is possible. Because when you're in that place of pain and depression, you often cannot see anything good about life. I've been there, so I know. But you just need someone external, not to deny your pain, but to tell you that this isn't the end of your story. You're probably just only in chapter 4 or 5, and you've got several more chapters to go. And you need that person to bring you out of it. So starting your journey, as I said, maybe just taking the time to find who it is that has been appointed in that season of your life to be your coach or your mentor, asking the right questions to them. But when you ask the questions, be humble enough, be honest enough to receive the answers that you get given, and then to implement. You have to start off. Sometimes we are in denial. I even have, conversations with myself, me and myself, and I talk to myself all the time, because I know that sometimes the things that you want to do, you cannot do them. And the things that you don't want to do, those are the things that you do. So I always have that conversation. Starting is the first step to shining. The second thing, the H stands for harness. Basically, harnessing means coming together, bringing together, all your gifts, all your talents. This is not leaving, and there are no gray area. You don't leave any part of your life untouched. Basically, all your experiences, all your gifts, all your skills, all your talents that have been given to you, you take note of them, you write them down, your failures, your pain, all your lived experiences. You take everything together, because for me, I have found that there's been occasions when someone's been grieving and somehow, I don't know how it happened, somehow they found their way to me because they had heard, or they know that I had suffered a tragedy or a similar tragedy. I remember during the time of the fire, the Grenfell fire, I remember talking to quite a few people and, having a few podcasts, host me on just the topic of grieving. And I didn't go to school. I didn't get a degree in grieving. I'm just speaking my truth. I'm just speaking my authentic story of how I came out of my pit, right?
Yeah.
Now sitting in my palace, and people just wanted to hear from from somebody else's story. So harnessing everything, the totality of your thoughts, your life, your gifts, your talents, harnessing them, and then asking yourself, what can I create that is of value? Because sometimes I'm sorry to say this, but social media forces us to posture, right? Posturing is really, I don't know, it's something, it's for me, it's an act, because it's not real. It's something that everybody on social media, for instance, everybody is happy, everybody's happy. No one has scars, no one has. And so I did one of my Shine Capsule podcast episodes was talking about scars, how our scars are beautiful and how our scars are part of our story. And I showed my scars. I've got lots of scars, physical,
This is mine.
I've got scars. So we should be proud of our scars. But anyway, we take everything, including our emotional scars, our physical scars, everything. We create something of value, because that's how not to waste your pain.
Yeah.
Right? You take it, you create something of value. Why do I say something of value? Because the world is looking for value. There's always a pain that somebody, or a frustration that somebody is going through, that needs your input, needs you to speak to it, or needs you to help that person to navigate the path from their pain or from their frustration into their pleasure. So you have to be that person that is bringing something of value. I don't believe in just sitting down with your pain and crying, or woe is me. And that doesn't serve anybody. If anything, it just incapacitates you and anybody that listens to you. Nobody wants to be sat down.
Pity party, yeah,
nobody wants a pity party. So I would say take everything that you are and create something of value from it. When you create that thing of value and you put it out into the world, it always returns back to you in terms of financial gain of some sort, because now you have a product, now you have a service, now you have something that can actually help somebody on their own journey. And so you're able to then monetize that. And that's how, and apart from monetizing it, your voice, your story is able to encourage and inspire someone else to keep going. If Clara can, I can. If
okay,
I can. So that is, I believe that's a calling.
Hold that thought, because we're going to get back there. Just hold it. Now, there is somebody, for example, who is sitting on the chair and is saying, how would I start? Assuming there's a woman in Nigeria living somewhere, you know how home is. I want us to appropriate the Shine philosophy. So we talk about, she starts, maybe she wants to sell fish, or she wants to sell clothes or whatever. And then she brings all of that. Who does she harness with? Harnessing her personality, her experiences, her skills, the people she knows. For instance, if she's selling fish, so we stay with that example, she's selling fish, she's selling wrappers or clothes or whatever it is. She needs to have a market. Right? Her personality, she may, even though she's not somebody of means in terms of finance, she may actually be someone who is confident in her own way. She may be somebody who knows people, or who can access people, whether it's in church or whether it's in any other location. So if she's that kind of outgoing person, she wants to start putting the word out there. She wants to start letting people
people know, oh, I have just started this business. I'm just saying that you have to appropriate your own voice. And everybody's story is not going to be the same. So what I usually do is it's customized, right? The whole process has to be customized because first of all, you're hearing from the person as to what they think is wrong with their life. The person that has not even agreed or told themselves that, listen, the way my life is going is not the way I want it to go. It's difficult to help that person because it's difficult. If you try to do that, you probably will come off sounding judgmental. But this person has already decided in her mind somewhere, even though she's sitting in a village somewhere, she's saying, this is, I'm called to do more. I can do more, I can do better. And if the person is thinking like that already, you want to have a conversation first. If I was midwifing her through that process, I would have a conversation. So what is it that you dream of? What would make your life, what would make you very proud of yourself if you were to achieve it in this particular season of your life, given where you are? What would be your highest ideal that you want to achieve? And she says, I want to own a store. For some people, it's as simple as I want to own a store. I want to sell this. I want to start making akara or puff or whatever it is. And you then want to begin to ask, so what's stopping you? So what's holding you back? If it is finance or if it is her relationship, because for me, when I talk about the prison, of course, it's a figurative prison. And the prison, I defined it as anything that limits or constrains or restricts you from living your best life. That could very well be a relationship. She's probably maybe in a marriage where, her partner is not supportive of that experience, or there is domestic violence going on. I'm guessing here, or she's just being constantly put down, and she wants to deal with those things first. She wants to find a way to, first of all, believe in herself and know that other people's, thoughts and other people's words and other people's comments about her don't define her. She has to have that sense of self-worth to say, I am more than this. I can do more than this. And then what is your more? What would be that ideal for you? And she has to be able to, how do I put it, articulate that. You can improve on it for her, but she has to be able to articulate that with her own voice, because then you're teaching her also to take advantage of her voice and to speak, calling those things that be not as though they were. From that point, you can lead her through the rest of the steps, such as identify. And identifying your skills. Some people don't know their skills. So there's no telling them to harness what they're not even familiar with. But you have to get them intimate with what their skills are. Oh, you're good with this. You're good. Sometimes, again, you may act as her mirror to show her, this is how I see you. This is who I see when I look at you. Do you not see that? Oh, she'll be like, I don't know. I don't really know. And you're able to speak truth to her heart, and to help her to see that this is who you are. This is who you could transform into. I know you don't like where you are, and that's a good thing. So we're going to navigate you from where you are to where you want to be. So she needs to identify her skills, her talents, her gifts. But more importantly, she needs to identify. Remember, I talked about creating something of value you can put out into the world. So who are you giving it to? What she has to sell may not be what I'm looking for. It may not be what you're looking for. It may not be what anyone on this call is looking for, but there must be somebody somewhere, either online or offline, that needs that service, that product, that idea. And she needs to be able to connect with that person. It's funny you ask this, because I've never had to work with somebody like that, like, the profile that you described, but it's worth thinking about and making it a universal concept, in the sense that you, what are you going to do with it? Where are you going to put out this product or this value or this service of something that you want to create, right? So, for instance, for people like us, we would say, who is your ideal client? First of all, have an avatar. Who is the person you're reaching out to? Is it professionals? Is it career people? Is it people in ministry? Is it, housewives? Is it widows? Whatever it is, who are you looking to attract with this product or service? And where do they hang out? You've got to find them. Where do they hang out? Do they hang out? Everything is, technology driven these days. So do they hang out on Instagram, on Facebook, or where do they hang out? Or if it's physically, how do you access them to say, hey, look at me, I've got what you need? So that is it's essential part of the Shine process. And then the networking, we're social animals.
So the I is the what now? Just I forgot, Identify.
And the N is to network, because whether we like it or not, as human beings, we are social animals. We connect, we interconnect, we relate, we interrelate. So you've got to find, people that you can connect with, that you can network with, that you can learn from. Because a network is sort of like a system, an interconnected system, isn't it? Where like people are rubbing off of each other. What I'm weak in, you are strong in. What you're strong in, things like that. And we form this
a web.
Respectful web, if you like, web of respect, where we sort of, bring out the best. We encourage each other to be the best that we can be. And then, of course, the E is very simple. The E is to express. No one light and puts it under a bushel. So if you have your light, if you have, discovered, if you've started your process, you've harnessed your skills, you've seen, where to, identify and find your ideal client or ideal target market or whatever, you're networking, you have to be able to express. That expression could be in the stuff that you put out into the world. If you're somebody who is a lyricist, for instance, it could be in the songs you put out. It could be in just express. Write your story, speak your story, whatever opportunity you get, express. And that's what actually I was thinking about when I created, the Shine philosophy and broke it down into those 5 steps. And even the Shine pledge, actually, if maybe I have a minute, I'll read that. I'll read the Shine pledge.
Yeah.
This is what, it is. Obviously, you start, you harness, you identify, you network, and you express. And of course, take up a challenge that will help you to be better than who you were yesterday. And the pledge, can I read the pledge?
Oh, please do.
Okay, so the pledge basically is each person reading this to themselves every morning and meaning it and fully deciding to act on it, right? It's no point you reading it and it not having an impact. So the Shine pledge simply says, I pledge to start my Shine journey. Remember, it's about starting. I pledge to start my Shine journey, to walk in the direction of my dreams and to leap into my Shine zone. The Shine zone is that place where shining seems effortless, right? Number 2, the second part says, I pledge to discover my true essence and to intentionally harness my gifts and my talents in order to serve the world. The third part says, I pledge to identify a unique need and apply the radiance of my shine factor in resolving that need. The fourth part says, this is the 5 letters of the Shine. The fourth part, network, says, I pledge to network effectively, to nurture and to support other Shine stars in the power of our collective greatness. And the 5th part, which is the express, the E, it says, I pledge to fully express my brilliance and to shine every day in every way. And I promise never to let anything or anyone dull my shine. That line is every podcast episode with, I promise never to let anything or anyone dull my shine.
My time is fast spent, but listen, we haven't even scratched the surface of it.
I did tell you I can talk.
Now, by the way, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave your questions for me in the chat box. If you're watching through via Zoom, and if you're watching via YouTube, you can leave your comments then in the comment box. And please, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe. It's important, Enebi, and help this video, like it and share it. Now, there's something that you said that when you said it, my eyes popped. And it talks about bringing your experiences together and monetizing it. That is a big one. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Assuming there is a coach or somebody who is looking to start a business in the of course, we've dealt with the market woman who's selling fish. Yeah, so we talked about the people that she knows and all of that. So now I want us to move now to a professional. These days this world is all in the cyberspace and the web and all of that. So how do we monetize? How do I monetize, for example, my experience?
I would say that that is an entire, if you like, lesson or entire series of lessons that will help you through that process. But here's what, in the spirit of start first, right? Here's what I would say. When I was starting in the beginning, I didn't just build, the profile that I have. When I was starting in the beginning, I didn't even feel like I had what it took to write an entire book. But I knew that writing was in my blood. It was in my veins. I love poetry. I love pen play. And I wanted to put stuff out there. So I just simplified it. Every morning, I can effortlessly write limericks and rhymes and things like that. So that's where I started. Sometimes it's just one sentence, sometimes it's 2 or 3 sentences. And I would put it out there to inspire people. And of course, there are certain things that are free that you don't have to pay for. Facebook, you can have a free profile there. Instagram and all of that. Social media literally is free. So I began to basically put my thoughts out there. And I found that the feedback I was getting was that it was touching lives. It was, people were impressed. They loved reading from me, so that if I missed a day, somebody would inbox me to say, what happened? We haven't seen your limericks today. So I had that.
I remember those limericks, yeah.
Yeah, so I began to put that out there. And pretty soon, I'd written my book basically in less than 3 months. What am I saying? Start from somewhere. You cannot monetize what is not valuable. You cannot monetize what people haven't even, first of all, you have to make sure that there's a need for it. So don't start based on emotions. Don't start because somebody else has started, but start on a sure foundation. Be honest with yourself when you ask that question of, do I have anything of value? And I believe everyone has greatness in them, so everybody can create something of value. But make sure that you yourself have taken yourself through the ringer. You've taken yourself through that process of extracting that thing of value so that you are sure, you are passionate, you are confident, because nobody will follow you if they don't know you by your output, the things you put out, the things you create, or they don't like you. When they know your content, they like your content, or they dislike your content, or they connect with it in some way. Your content isn't going to be for everybody, so don't worry about it if some people like it and some people
dislike it.
Just focus on work with the willing, focus on those that like the content. And so once you have that, then the trust comes in, because I know what, Ibi puts out there week after week. She brings together all these amazing people and she gets them to share their stories. And there's always a nugget somewhere, everyone shares their true stories. And I just love the way she puts out her content and all of that. That might inspire you then to know which direction you want to go. But if you're still looking for direct, specific actionable steps, that's where you need to work with a coach. That's where you need a mentor. Do you understand? Someone to mentor you through the process, because you still need to get naked with that person, where that person tells you have a truthful conversation, and you tell them this and this and this is what I think my skills are. And then, this is what I would like to create. And then they will midwife you through that process and tell you the skills, the strategies, the tips, the tools that you can use that you may not be aware of. But because they're used to doing this with other people, that is what they do as a coach or as a mentor. They're going to be able to midwife you through that process. But the main thing to take away from this is you cannot monetize what is not valuable. I mean, everyone has the right to post something on their social media, on their Facebook wall now, for instance. Not everything, some of it is rubbish. Some of it is degrading. Some of it is not worthy. Some of it is depressing. But if you intentionally want to monetize someday, then you have to start, have a blog, start doing videos, do a vlog or a blog or whatever it is. But you must be putting something out there in the world and be consistent about it. For a season at least, so people know they can rely on you. Every Saturday, 6 o'clock, Ibi Speaks. If I'm looking for my Saturday tonic, I will just go on your wall and I will pick up the details and I will join you on YouTube or I will join you on Zoom, because I know you're consistent. Every Saturday she does this. So somebody has got to be able to, the world has got to be able to see that you're consistent. And very soon, and of course, your USP is important, your unique selling proposal, because your shine factor is that thing that you do so effortlessly well, and you do it in a way that nobody else does. This is why your story has to come into whatever you're creating and monetizing. Your story makes it sweet. Your story is what connects you to those that will buy from you one day, that you are going to, you're going to work with as a coach or as a mentor. Your story basically connects you to those that you are called to serve.
Fantastic. Now, I was going to ask you, but you just quickly mentioned it. So what is the shine factor?
The shine factor basically is that skill or that talent, basically, that you can express in a way that nobody else can. For instance, if I say, I'm thinking of quick examples now. If I say David Beckham, you'll probably tell me what his shine factor is. Or if I said Tiger Woods, you tell me what his shine factor is. Does that mean that Tiger Woods is the only golfer? No. Does that mean that, David Beckham is the only footballer or the best? No. But there's something that God has deposited inside of you, which is why that whole process, you can't jump it. That process of getting intimate with your skills, your talents, your gifts, your past failures, your lived experiences, the pain, everything that's happened to you in life. And on my website, I should just invite everyone to go on my website, and they can download a free copy of the Shine assessment. That assessment is like an audio guide. It will guide you through the process of thinking through these things that I'm talking about, so that at the end of it, the objective is that you're able to distill and determine and come out with a written shine factor statement, which helps you to get going. At least you can get started with that. You can take that and say, okay, you can sleep on it, you can look at it, and you can say, okay, so where do I want to go with this? And be prepared for a period of learning. By that, I mean, working with a coach who hold you by the hand step by step by step. That's basically, what I do, working with people and helping them to, first of all, see that they can, see that they are able, see that they are worthy, see that they have something of value. You'd be surprised how many people don't know or believe this. But whether you believe it or not is the truth, because God doesn't
value.
Everyone has value buried inside of them. So you just need the right coach to bring that out inside of you, and then you can monetize it together.
Fantastic. So now this brings me to the next question. Yeah. Now, and it's so, you've mentioned it, but I still want us to drill a bit deeper into it. Mm-hmm. We talk about the shine factor. Like you say, some people don't know what their value is. So for example, seated here, or we have people listening to us. How can I, over the top of my head, know my purpose and have an inkling of what my shine factor is?
I don't think that is something that you would know, how do I put it now, off the top of your head, so to speak. I think that it's a process.
Okay.
Something that is meant to guide you to your next level. It cannot be frivolous. It cannot be, you know what, I've got 5 minutes. I'm not busy now. I'm free for the next 15 minutes. Right. What's my purpose now? It's going to be that you sit down, you hunker down. Right? Just the way, when you're having your face beat up, as they say, you're having a makeup artist work on you. She first primes the face and she puts all, she prepares the landscape. You've got to prepare your mind. You've got to free yourself from, if you like, naysayers or from anything that's holding you bound, restricted, limiting you. Usually the mindset is the main thing, right? Okay. So I would start with the mindset. What is your mind telling you? What is your mental script? What do you believe about yourself? Do you even know who you are, what you carry? If you don't know that, you're not going to have the unction to be able to function in this thing that the person is trying to create for you. It would be like somebody creating something that you feel is bigger than you and then putting it on your shoulders. You just crumble weight. They've got to build you up from the bottom up. First of all, the mindset. I keep saying this, that when I started writing my book, when I started this manuscript, I so felt, if you like, I felt really, really aggrieved about my day job. I felt it was limiting me. It was restricting me, all these things I could be doing and everything. It was only as I was completing the manuscript that it dawned on me. I had a bit of a eureka moment, and I realized, a moment of epiphany, I realized that the prison was not the four corners of my corporate, cubicle or my wall of my office. The prison was actually right here in my mind. And so the moment I escaped the prison of the mind, everything opened up for me. So the mind and mindset is always where I want to start these journeys from. Because if you don't believe it, you cannot bring it, you can't birth it, you can't bring it to pass. So the person has got to believe for themselves. It's okay for somebody to believe for you in the beginning, to say, I know you can do this. You know, I have confidence in you, who I see when I look at you. Then you've got to buy into that belief. You've got to then own it. If you don't do that, then you're not going to be able to go far with it. So the first step would be to check the person's belief system, or check their belief system. What's your rhetoric? What do you tell yourself every morning when you look in the mirror? Like, what do you see? You know, when you're about to go out to face the demons of the day, if you like, you wake up in the morning, what do you see? And just what is your optimism level? You know, for me, I'm a diehard optimist. There's nothing you can bring, and that's after all, I'm BTC, right? I'm born to conquer, and that just proclaims that no matter what life will throw at me, I don't need to know what's next. I don't need to know what tomorrow will bring. I already know that I know that I know that no matter what life throws at me, I'm equipped. I already have the machinery inside of me to overcome. And that for me is a life philosophy. And because I believe it, sis, it's been so far a self-fulfilling prophecy for me.
Fantastic. Now, listen, Clara, listen, we may have to do a part 2.
I'm up for it.
Yeah. Then the next thing I want to do, we talked about it, and we touched on it even yesterday when we're having the conversation about what we wanted to achieve today. And career, and I touched on this as well. I said, you had the trappings of a successful career. Yeah? But you wanted to fulfill your purpose. So can we touch on that, in the sense that now you still have the 9 to 5 and you're a very busy person, you're an entrepreneur, you're a podcaster, you're an author, you still do a lot of things. So how did you come to the point of finding yourself in the translations of the roles that you play?
I worked with a coach. My journey literally started. Of course, I had a level of confidence in myself. See, I knew that even though my career was going well and I have a, very well-paying job in the city of London, corporate lawyer and all of that, but I knew that there was yet more. I knew that there was more that God was calling me to. I knew that I wasn't fulfilling my purpose. And so there was that dissatisfaction, which we've already talked about.
Discontent.
And so there was that discontent, dissatisfaction with the way my life was going. And I'll be like, oh, if only. So the first thing I needed to do basically was to pack all my if onlys, pack up all my valid excuses, because an excuse is still an excuse. I put everything in a truckload one day and I pushed everything down the cliff. And I said, it doesn't matter what you think is holding you bound. In fact, Clara, nothing is holding you bound. Nothing is limiting you, save for yourself, save for your mind. So from that point on, I knew what I had to do right. So I did some research. Who is it that can help me navigate this path? Who either, has my kind of spirit, has gone through, if you like, adversity, maybe, will understand me because she can coach a confident professional like myself, because you're not every person that can coach you successfully.
Yeah.
And so I found that person, we had a conversation, and I knew from the moment I met up with her up in London, we had tea, and she gifted me a book, which is by my bedside. She gifted me a leadership book. I'm like, this woman is my tribe. She gets me. And right there in that seating, we had already, and she's a dreamer like me. She's a shape dreamer. So we had started to, postulate and talk about, this is where we're going to have the lunch. What? I haven't even written a single line of the book. You're telling me about having the lunch. But that's the kind of person she is. I'm like, I recognize this woman. She's my tribe. So we had that conversation, and I began to get so excited because I felt like we were bouncing positivity off of each other. Of course, we had to come down to terra firma. We had to break it down to steps. This is what we need to do. This is what we need to do. We had a timeline, and we put the timeline. And I said to her, do you know what? It's all good to dream all these highfalutin dreams. I don't know if I can do them. She said, why not?
Yeah. Self-sabotage, yeah.
I have my day job because I have a 2-hour commute to get back to work, 2 hours to get there in the morning. Most times when I get into work, I'm already tired. So please, how am I going to find the time? And she said, we'll walk around your time. So there were times when this amazing lady actually sat up with me past midnight, because she knew that was the only time I could find. I was burning the candle, but because I was determined, I had seen the vision, I had seen the possibility, and I wanted it. So we sat down. She accommodated me round her timing. She walked around my timing, and we were able to basically put in place the pins and we drew out the blueprint. So you're going to need a blueprint. So how do you go from where you are to where you want to be, which I believe is the question you asked, is that you have to find that person. And I say to people all the time that I'll be arrogant to think that I'm supposed to help everybody midwife themselves into their shine zone. But at the same time, I'm usually very good with that initial stage where I help you see what is possible, and I help you agree and accept that is not only possible, but it is possible for you. So we put you in the center frame of what we're creating. We make you basically there is no, if you like, there's no breaking point except you break. So once we put you in that center frame and we give you the blueprint that you're meant to follow, you find that you have somebody in your corner. You have a truth teller. You have somebody that is willing to tell you when you've dropped the ball or when you're about to drop the ball or what you need to. That sort of helps you to stay accountable and, and go on your journey. And what I've found happened to me after that initial process, you may very well need to move on and work with somebody else. But if it is for somebody who is wanting to become a coach, of course, there are things that you need. There's a coaching kit. There are things that you need, resources that you need, which your coach will be able to show you where to get them and to get them in the most cost-effective manner and to create the processes or the things that you need to start your coaching career.
Fantastic. So before I ask the next question, I want to say that if you thoroughly enjoyed this interview, I would like you to please like it on my Facebook page.
Hopefully it's been of value.
Sorry, on my YouTube page. It is of value on my YouTube page. Like it, share it. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe. It's Ibinabo Enebi. Now, let me take a few comments and questions here. Someone says, thank you, Sister Ivy. The Lemonade series are really life-changing, inspiring, and impactful. Way to go. Thank you, Mrs. Rufai, for coming to break down the Shine experience. It's transformational. God bless you. Simple and enriching. Then someone asked, were you able to take care of your children during your lemonade period, or did your husband stand by you at that time? During your lemon period, or did your husband stand by you at the time?
I would say that being in a meaningful relationship does help. Obviously, I shouldn't go. See, it never ends.
Yeah.
We're talking about 2016, but you'd be surprised to hear that of recent, very recent, I've had another lemonade period. That's led to me being away from work for about 3 months plus. I've been in hospital. Had a spinal surgery. Nobody would know where to look at my face. But hey, what am I saying? That being in a meaningful relationship and in a relationship that you are where you matter, right? Where you are valued, that goes a whole long way. Because if my husband was unwell, of course I would step in. So yes, he was there, he helped. I've got 2 boys. They're a handful, but they're also not babies, thank God. So they were able to just get on with things. And they actually helped me through the process of, all the reminding me of my physio visits, acupuncture appointments, and just many different things. What am I saying? Being part of having a support system matters, right? And it may not be a partner, it may not be a spouse, it may just be a sister, a friend, or a friend turned sister. It may just be somebody, maybe a neighbor, could be anybody, but just having a support system for when you need it. And you also posturing or positioning yourself to be somebody else's support
structure. Yeah.
The universe knows all these things, and then it pays you back somehow. So
fantastic. So I want to summarize that for you to be able to take it to the next level, you would need to have a coach. The coaches are a necessity.
Yeah.
You know, coaches are a necessity now.
Because let me just say this, right? You and I couldn't have been the graduates that we are today. We couldn't have gotten our degrees if we didn't have someone to coach us through. You know, first of all, 6 years of primary school, we had coaches, teachers, and then 4 years of our degree, and maybe a year after that for our masters, we had coaches throughout all this. But the thing to realize is that these things that we're navigating, you know, the life lessons we're learning and the skills, the soft skills that we need. I'm not talking about the lawyer, engineer, doctor, the life skills that we need to be effective and to do life successfully. We need them. We need a coach that's why you hear of life coaches and you hear of business coaches. Depending on what it is you're trying to navigate, you might need a business coach, you might need a life coach, or you might need, you know, just somebody to midwife you through that process. You know, so
fantastic. Yes. So Clara, if someone is listening today and would like to contact you, what's the first step in reaching you?
If they reach you, they've reached me. But
okay. Seriously, so reach me, you reach her, yeah?
There are places where you can find me easily, and you can find me, my virtual home. I always invite people to visit me at my virtual home because that just shows you, just gives you an introduction to who this person is. And so www.clararufai.com, visit me there, get in contact. If you're wanting a closer connection, then definitely find me on social media. And, you know, I don't know, tag me or come into my inbox or go through my lovely sister here, Ibi.
Fantastic. I had a wonderful time. And I'm sure that that my viewers also had an amazing time. And I think that we may have to come back sometime at the beginning of the year, maybe.
Would be lovely.
To have, as a matter of fact, I'm thinking about something already. Ta-da! It's okay. I have something in my mind, but I wouldn't say until I have all of you in place.
Amazing. And can I just mention, and I might, you know, of course not might, I will let you know the date, but actually 26th and the 27th of November, I'm going to be hosting this year's annual Leap and Shine conference. The Leap and Shine conference is something that I started in 2016 to help people leap from their limitation into their liberation, into their shine zone.
Fantastic.
And it started life as a virtual conference where I did a crazy thing the first year. With my very demanding day job, I had a 7-day conference, you people. And literally, I would get off of the train and run home. And as I got home, I was flinging my bag, my shoes, and I would pop on my my Leap and Shine t-shirt, and I'll be doing my face, and it's already time. And my husband will be helping me to do the connections before I go live. And people come on and they don't know the turmoil. They don't know what you've had to do to show up the way you're showing up. And on every night of those 7 days, I spoke to 2 influencers on each night. And then in between each of the discussions, I would go live on Facebook and I would summarize what each speaker had said. So I took on quite a lot. I felt really proud of myself at the end of the 7 days. So that's how it started. And then it carried on as a virtual conference. Last year, for the first time, we had it as a live event in London. We had speakers from 3 continents coming into the country. It was a 2-day event. It was experiential. I don't know what to tell you. Just go and see what happened last year at www.leapandshineconference.com.
Okay. www.leapandshine. Do you want to type it?
I will.
Yeah.
This year's conference is coming up in November 26th and 27th. And this is, you guys heard it here first. Please join me. It will be amazing to have you guys join us. The Leap and Shine Conference 2021. Thanks to COVID, we just want to be sensible and just keep it as a virtual, go back to virtual this year. And then next year, we are going back to live.
Now, I want to quickly read out again some comments that I have here. Yes, part 2 will be great.
Oh,
Thank you, Clara. Bless your heart.
thank you.
Awesome and impactful session. Thanks, Clara and Ibi. Definitely a time well spent. And it's leapandShineConference.com. Now, quickly, are there any resources in your website that people can quickly check? Quickly, yeah?
Yes. The Shine Factor assessment is there as a free download. It's one of the gifts that I give away on my website. I'd love to also invite people to join us in the Shine Zone, which is our online community. It's a social enterprise that just encourages people to shine and to live in their shine zone. So we are planning a lot of amazing stuff there. It's www.theshinezone.com. You'll be able to read our magazine there, because for those who don't know, I'm editor-in-chief.
Oh my goodness gracious me.
Magazine. Exactly. You'll also be able to listen to episodes of the Shine Capsule podcast, these are just audio pills that you ingest and they help you shine from the inside out.
And must I tell you that you're shining yourself?
Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you, Ibi, and my Leap and Shine princess.
Aww.
Very inspirational manner. So guys, so listen, Clara, we are fast spent, but it's fantastic. So we're going to do a part 2.
Thank you.
And we're going to work in it. So thank you everyone for joining me. If you enjoyed this video, it's going to be on my Facebook. It's going to be on my YouTube channel, Ibinabo Enebi. I would like you to kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't. It's Ibinabo Enebi. If you have, thank you. And like it. Like Clara's video and all other videos that I have. And what else? I'm going to see you.
And share it. Share the link.
And share the link. And October is going to be another very interesting month. I'm going to have a mental health specialist come to talk about, mental health specialist. And then we're going to talk about a lot of things and looking at doing something on our later years, retirement, looking after our health and all of that. I'm trying to put something together, and
that's something I'm interested in.
Fantastic. So thank you, everyone. Listen, I can't mention all the names because I don't want to mention some names and then leave out some, but I have a whole lot of people here and I'm appreciative of it. And thank you very much. And Clara, I will call you.
Thank you, Ibi. Thanks for having me, and keep up the great work. You're really putting out value. I appreciate you. I love you.
I receive it.
And for all the lovely comments, I appreciate you guys like no man's business.
Thank you, Clara.
Thank you. Yeah. All right then. All right.
Thank you, everybody. And we have quite a few guys, and everybody stayed. So.
Thank you. Yeah.